friends, it's Carolina Moore, your favorite sewing and quilting YouTuber, and we are going to start the 4-patch block of the month. It's January 1st, and if you've been waiting for this day, then yay, grab your fabric and let's get started. If you are new here and you are catching this video just now, go down into the description. There are links for everything that you need to be able to join in. So, you ready? Let's get started. So I have all of my pieces all laid out and ready to go. I love that this is a 4-patch block of the month, because with a 4-patch block of the month, we are going to sew 4 of the same unit, and then we're going to lay them out and sew those together to make the finished block. Now I have all my pieces laid out. The cutting instructions are in the pattern. If you don't have that, go down to that description, get that link. So I laid all of these out, and as you can see, it doesn't fit together perfectly, and it's not supposed to at this point because we have all our seam allowances added in here. So it's not going to fit together like a perfect puzzle until we sew it together. I'm doing all of this on my Baby Lock Jubilant. Whatever machine you have at home should be perfect. If you're having any issues with your tension, take it in for a quick COA. That's a clean, oil, and adjust. It's January, a great time to take your machine in for that clean, oil, and adjust so that it comes back working perfectly. And coincidentally, mine just came back from her COA, so she's sewing beautifully. We're going to start with our little squares, and we are going to add a triangle unit to each side. So let me put this right sides together. And you will see that these triangle pieces poke off the end. They are supposed to, and that's totally fine. I have a nice 1/4-inch foot on my sewing machine. This is a 1/4-inch foot with a guide, which makes it even handier for sewing those 1/4-inch seams. And what I love about this being a 4-patch is that I can now do this 4 times. So it makes it go together really fast. Just chain stitch all these seams. Once you're done stitching all 4 of those seams, you can cut them apart using either the thread cutter on the side of your machine, or if you don't have one of those, or if you want to keep it lasting a little longer, it will get dull over time. You can grab a little thread cutter, and that way you cut your chains. Now we're going to press these, and we're going to press the seams out towards the triangles. There we go. Now I've pressed all of these. I'm going to do what I like to do, which is lay it back out the way it's supposed to be. And now I'm going to be able to sew on these triangles right here. This little dog ear can get in the way of a 1/4-inch seam allowance with guide, so you just lift that up and keep sewing. And we're just going to repeat that for all 4 of our blocks here. Now this time I'm going to cut them apart with scissors because I want to have the scissors handy to cut off these dog ears right here. If you were to leave the dog ears, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It just adds a little extra bulk, and that can lead to a not smooth quilt top in the end. So I'm just cutting those off, and I'm cutting them apart just with scissors while I'm at it. There we go. So those are all my little dog ears. And, oh, I've got some extra threads here, so let's trim those away. Keep our project all cleaned up. And now we're going to press these again. And yes, sometimes I just press right on top of one another. It's totally fine. There we go. So now you'll have all 4 of these units, and you can see that now that those seam allowances are all in the unit, they'll fit perfectly with this unit. So that's what we're going to do right here. We're going to just stitch these 2 together. And we're going to repeat that again 4 times. Now, you may have noticed I went a little slow right when I was at this point right here. So when you're stitching this, you're stitching right along, and when you get to this point right here, if you can stitch right there at that point, you'll have a perfect point on your square. If it's not perfect, it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect for it to be a quilt. It doesn't have to be perfect for it to be fun. It doesn't have to be perfect for you to enjoy it. And it definitely doesn't need to be perfect to keep somebody warm, right? So if you want to try to get perfect points, great. If you don't, it's also just fine. I'm going to keep going with these last 2. Okay, now we're going to iron these, and I'm going to iron them so this background piece of fabric is up, and that'll make it really easy for me to iron it towards the background. Now traditionally when we quilt, we talk about pressing towards the dark side. Now obviously my background is not the dark side, my background is actually my light in this case. But the other thing that we look at when pressing is pressing away from the bulk. So if I were to press this seam towards the dark, all this bulk would be all on top of each other, and so that's not great. So in this case, I will be pressing towards the light instead of the dark, but it's because I'm pressing away from the bulk, if that makes sense. Okay, so now I'm going to be trimming off my dog ears here. You can do this with a rotary cutter and a ruler. I usually just do it with scissors because it's pretty easy to see where we're cutting this off. We're just trimming off that little corner right there. There we go. And now I can lay these out. Oh, there we go. And that's why I lay them out, so that I know what I'm doing. Now we're going to do the exact same thing that we already did with adding this corner and this corner to this square. We're now adding this corner and this corner to this square. So it's just a repeat of what we've already done. So we're just going to go ahead and do that real quick. All right, we've made these new triangle units, and just like before, we're going to trim off those dog ears. And we're just cutting across at this diagonal right here. There we go. And now we can press these. There we go. So now we have these 4 triangles done. We're just going to stitch them to this other triangle right here. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and put on my reading glasses so I can see this a little bit better. Oh, so much better. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stitch our piece triangles to our background triangles, and then we'll have all 4 of our 4 patches done. Okay, so I finished all of these, and now I get to press them. And again, we're going to press them towards the background because that's pushing the bulk away from the block. And now again, I'm going to trim off these little dog ears here. And that will make this just come together easier. And again, we're getting rid of bulk that doesn't need to be there. Okay, so now we have our 4 blocks and we're going to lay them all out. So I'm going to put these 2 with the backgrounds towards each other and these 2 with the piece parts towards each other. So there's our block. Now we're just going to sew these 2 pieces and these 2 pieces together, and that makes our rows, and then we can sew the rows together to make the finished quilt block. So we have these are going to get pressed again away from the piece part and towards the background. It is going to overlap one little seam here. That's okay. There we go. And now, let's see, make sure that I have this correct. Perfect. So now we're going to put this right sides together. I like to nest this center seam because a nice sharp center seam is going to make the whole block look perfect. Let's open up and see how we did. Oh, it looks like I cut off a teeny bit of my point there, but this one's perfect. I'm going to call it a win. This one also got a little bit cut off and that one's perfect. So 50-50, that's fine. We're going to do a quick spin of our seams. So if you've never done that before, it's really simple. I have one seam going this way, one seam going that way. So you can see I'm going to keep them going in that same direction around, and that's going to pop open this center, which will give a lot less bulk in this center. So I'm doing it from the back real quick, and then I'm going to give it a good press from the front. I have a couple threads. Let's clean those up. That's our block. So there you go. That's our block for January, completely done. It is a 4-patch block, and all of the blocks in this block of the month will be 4-patch blocks. If you want any of the patterns or information, they're down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. In addition to a description, there is a comment area where I would love to hear what you think of this block and if you've made yours yet. And make sure you subscribe to this channel. I don't just have this block of the month. I have hundreds of quilting videos here, and I want to make sure you don't miss out on any of them. So hit subscribe and then that bell, and you'll be notified every time I have a new quilting video for you. Thanks so much for watching, my friends. I will see you right here real soon. Bye for now.